again, it's so complex. It gets into psychology, and I don't even know how to articulate it. I don't even know how. It's like a view that they don't believe anything can be fixed, and they don't believe that anything can be made better. And so all these different hundreds of groups all attack each other, and they all attack their own families, and they just run around in a nasty, trollish way, just being incredibly negative. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and I don't want to be sucked in to that nastiness. I don't want to respond to it. I want to see people be sophisticated. I want to see people be able to have complex thoughts and complex understandings. I mean, they say that we all lie in one way or another every day. And most of the time, it's unconscious. We lie to ourselves. And I forget the philosopher that said, know yourself. That's the most important thing, and then you can understand the world. But if you can't look at yourself and be honest with yourself, then how are you going to be honest with anybody else? I mean, here's an example, and I'm going to your calls, and I don't want callers to get off into this. I don't know why I got off into it. I don't know why I spent 8 minutes earlier talking about sneezing on air. Well, I know why I'm a little bit dingy today. People say that, well, Alex Jones works for ABC News. And they say it because, I don't know, people 6, 7, 8 years ago who knew that they were lying went and took the fact that one of the satellites that Ted leases to send our radio show to radio affiliates was an ABC satellite. And he was actually leasing it when it was another company, I forget the name, and then it got bought by ABC, and it's since been sold 2 or 3 times. And, of course, anybody who runs a radio station is laughing because they know there's only 3 or 4 satellites you can get on to be delivered. And anybody, you could start a gardening show about rodeos, whatever you wanted, from your own house. You could go lease. Well, the satellites changed names again. I forget the name of the new company. And folks could go find the name of that company and find out who's on its board of directors and give them some ideas and then go say that I work for all of those people. But they're lying to themselves when they do that. And we all lie to ourselves sometimes about how much we eat or what we do. All I'm saying is you need to be honest with yourselves. I mean, intellectually. Like it scores a point against Alex Jones to lie and say that I work for ABC because you could, years ago, go up to their website and see us listed there as someone who leases time from them, and that, what channel of the satellite the Genesis shows are on. I mean, it's people playing on the ignorance of others. And I learned years ago, to my shock and horror, you could even tell these people, you could even send them an email and say, here's the phone number, you can call ABC News, and you can find out that you can lease time on the satellite they bought, and that this is how you're on talk radio. This is what radio stations have as receivers. And they send an email back to you saying, no, you're going down, scumbag. Ooh, we've got you now. And you email them back and say, no, this ABC thing isn't hurting me. It's don't you want to know the truth? I mean, I don't work for ABC. They steal who you really are and then present something that isn't true, and it's not done to seek the truth. It's done just because they're angry that I'm successful and they're not. But they're not successful because of the type of people they are. You're not successful because of who you have become. And no amount of hate and no amount of striking out at people that you think are more successful than you is going to help you. Oh, there's another example of this. And again, I've totally digressed, and I shouldn't even have gotten off all into this. I probably should have called in sick today with the broadcast because when I don't feel well, I tend to just focus on more parochial things going on in my head than all the news, because it's painful to look at this news. I mean, it's scary, and I know why people live in denial. I know why they had hundreds of times the people surfing the NFL, and would there be a shutdown, would there be a strike, or whatever was going on in the last few days. Then we're looking at the debt ceiling. I mean, I know why people want to totally embrace mindlessness, because responsibility is frustrating. And it's safe to just talk about football all day. You're not going to have a bunch of detractors and people calling for you to be murdered if you're talking about the NFL. But, you know, I have children, and I want them to have a good future. It comes down to that. If you don't have children, you don't know why folks that have children say, hey, I'm involved because I have children. But it's more than that. I like humanity. You know, I see the good things in people, and I know we've got such a greater potential. But we're entering a phase technologically where we're going to destroy ourselves if we don't get a hold of this. And if we don't do something about the corrupt elites that are in power. So at the end of the day, I just say ignore Alex Jones and the debates about me. Focus on issues.
Question: can functional magnetic resonance imaging be used to read our minds? Author Jose Collazo answers yes in his 2 new books, America's New Slavery. For more than 13 years, author Jose Collazo has been trying to prove that the U.S. government has the capacity to read a person's thoughts with a revolutionary technology known as fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging, and there is proof that it exists. America's New Slavery explores this technology and its many possible applications in national security. Who has access to it? How is it being used? Does America's salvation rest in this technology? These and many other questions are answered in America's New Slavery, the new books by Jose Collazo, available on BN.com, Amazon.com, and Borders.com. America's New Slavery. All Americans should be concerned.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own the sun, so go to mysolarbackup.com or call 1-877-327-0365.
Optics Planet is calling all hunters, shooters, and outdoorsmen. It's time to gear up. As the best online retailer of rifle scopes, red dot sights, lasers, and other firearm accessories, Optics Planet has a special deal to offer GCN listeners. You may already know OpticsPlanet.com has the best selection of weapon lights, holsters, night vision, binoculars, and tactical gear on the planet. With incredibly low prices, free shipping on most orders, and USA-based phone support, Optics Planet is the online retailer of choice for discerning gun owners and outdoor enthusiasts. Featuring Loophole, Blackhawk, EOTech, Crimson Trace, Night Force, Trigicon, Surefire, over 700 top brands. For a limited time, head to opticsplanet.com/GCN to get a free Streamlight Keymate, the world's most powerful keychain light with purchase. That's opticsplanet.com/GCN or call 800-332-OPTICS right now to speak with an Optics Planet product specialist. 800-332-6784.
You know, I am just completely blown away by how crazy the world is. And I just constantly keep thinking about the fact that they admit they've got all these cross-human animal clones and they're using them for body parts, experiments, and it's all over the news. And it's not even a big issue. It's just like, oh, yeah, oh, forget cloning sheep. Yeah, we've been cloning humans a long time. We kept it secret from you. and the government's putting stuff in the water to give us cancer and dumb us down, and we have the government documents and we know the Nazis used it at their camps. And then I'd say half the so-called alternative news websites out there spend all day talking about me instead of talking about news and information. And they're so stupid, they don't even know that actually makes me bigger, that you're giving me power. You're making me bigger. You're making people say, who is Alex Jones? The funny thing is, I don't even want it to be about me. I want it to be about the information. I want a future. I want good things. I thought growing up everybody was like me, that they were honest, that they liked seeing their neighbors do well, that they liked it when people had a good-looking girlfriend. You know, I'm the type of person that sees a good-looking couple and I don't get mad at them, that the guy's better looking than I am, that the woman's super beautiful, and ooh, that's good. And now I've learned that a lot of people get angry by that. And they get angry by people's wealth, and they get angry by people's art and poetry. I found out that a lot of famous writers and poets and film directors and people are hated by their contemporaries because they're the best. And then I realized that's how the globalists are. They've taken over through fraud and corruption, and they've sold themselves that Machiavellian end justifies the means is beautiful and powerful, and really it's horrible. And I can't believe that I am a shining specimen of goodness when I know how bad I am. I mean, I try to be good. I try to be honest. I try to get things right. And I get things wrong. I subconsciously lie because I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I don't want to go all the way. I don't want to. And then I see people who consciously want to lie, who consciously sit around and think about ways to manipulate people. I don't even know what to say anymore. It's just we're in so much trouble. We're in so much trouble. The FDA last week said they're just going to allow total unlimited GMO on the shelves everywhere, no testing, no nothing. I mean, do you have any idea what this means? Do you have any idea how much trouble we're in? We're under full globalist assault. Habu, Sean, Chris, Bob, Otter, I'm going to go to you right now. Habu, you're on the air. Thanks for holding while I've been babbling.
Thank you for taking my call, and it's always good to listen to you. I'm a faithful listener. May I please make two comments? One, lost in the din of this whole thing about Norway is President Obama's push for free trade agreements. He is right now pushing for this Colombian, Panamanian, and South Korean free trade agreement. This is something that's going to completely devastate our already eviscerated workforce. And here they're talking, look at this doublespeak. They're talking about debt ceiling. What it's going to be is American taxpayers will have to pay these displaced workers funds to tide them over while they kind of adjust. And then these people are going to be out of jobs permanently. So that means even less money's flowing into the coffers. Now,
but at the end of the day, it's consolidating the wealth and making people dependent, which is the end game. And yes, they're trying to ram through a whole bunch of trade deals with South Korea, you name it. And every time they do a trade deal, the trade disparities get even worse. We'll be right back with Habu in 1 minute. More.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, there are